Hi guys! So I am really excited to come on today. I am bringing on another expert, one of my favorite things to do so that you guys can start to learn from other people and just start to dive into your own bodies. So this is mainly, I'm going to say hi to everyone joining. Hi. This is going to be very heavily focused on my women. So this is about pregnancy and fertility because there's so much that comes into pregnancy and fertility and how to actually support your body in wanting to get pregnant and what that looks like for your body. It is a whole part. So I am bringing on an expert in this. So let's get her on right now. Hi to everyone joining. And if you have questions, if you have a friend who might be trying to get pregnant right now or interested, please get them on. And hello to everyone joining. And let's have fingers crossed that this all works.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Thank
I'm
you
great.
so much. Hi.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Happy you guys are joining.
So tell everyone who you are, how you got started in what you're doing to help people.
So I am Aimee Raup, and some would call me a women's health and fertility expert. I've been in clinical practice for 16 years. I'm by trade an acupuncturist and herbalist, and I wrote a book called Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, Natural Ways to Improve Your Fertility. I myself got pregnant naturally in my 40s, and that's the thing I really help women with is optimizing their fertility mentally, emotionally, physically, and nutritionally. And I've had a lot of success with it. So I'm on a mission to help women, just to empower them to take back the control over their health and their fertility, to realize that they have so much that they can do to help themselves. And I know, getting and staying pregnant is a big fear for so many women, especially in this day and age. And so I just like to go out there and talk and share and spread and help, encourage women to make some positive changes in their life that can be really lasting and impact their fertility.
I absolutely love that. And we actually just had someone comment, and she said that she's 35 and going on and afraid because she wants to have her third child. Where my mom, even back in the day, she had me at 35.
Yeah.
So, but now that if you start at that age, it's like, it's old. I mean,
they're like, oh, you're going off your fertile cliff, if you after 35, basically all your eggs are bad, right?
Yeah.
And the statistics don't support that at all. I mean, that's really, I think, the most important thing that all you guys should know about is that you can still get pregnant in your late 30s, even in your early to mid 40s. The statistics don't support that your fertility falls off this cliff as I think some of the medical doctors would have you believe. It decreases maybe by about 6 to 8% kind of every 5 years, I would say. So, 35, they say something like 86% of women get pregnant in the 1 year of trying. 35 to 40, it's like 82%. 40 to 43, it's about 78%. So to remember that you still have these chances. Wow. Yes, it declines with age. Sure, it does. And yes, we need to, take charge of our health. Like, your fertility is an extension of your health. They are not separate, and you need to know that. And so you want to be as healthy and as optimal as you can possibly be, and you should still be able to get pregnant at 38, 40, 42. I have girls that are 44 and 45 pregnant naturally. And then if you're doing assisted reproductive techniques, that's awesome too, and if that's what you need, but there's things that you can do to optimize your success with those as well.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. I mean, even, and going back to what typical MDs say, or gynecologists, whoever you're seeing, like even my sister, when she went back and she was getting pregnant, it was like, well, once you're 34, you're old and your eggs are bad. And you're told all these things. So even like me being 31 right now, not thinking of having kids right now, but like the fear is out there.
Yeah, it sets in.
Of what we've been told and what we've been conditioned to believe. So is it something where your eggs go bad? Like, what is the whole facts and
the real fact is that we have no way of knowing the quality of your eggs. There is not a single test out there that exists that can measure the quality of your eggs, unless you do IVF and they do something called pre-genetic diagnosing, where they take a piece of the embryo and they send it off to a lab and they test it chromosomally. But even then, there's now argument that those tests aren't accurate. So the truth is we'll never know. What I like to say and give people, something to think about is that if, all this talk about like cellular health and reducing inflammation, if we can anti-aging, right? If we can like fight the aging process and all these other aspects of our life, I want you to think about it from that perspective on the fertility front, that when we improve the quality of the cells in our body, we improve the quality of every single cell in our body. And that includes the cells in the ovaries, the cells in the follicles, which create those eggs. So to approach it from that perspective, and that I have 40-year-olds that are healthier than 25-year-olds, right? So, and I have 40-year-olds that have better quality eggs than 25-year-olds. And that's not to say that it's like that across the board, but it really is a function of how you live your life. And, not just the food you eat, not just how you move, how you sleep, the thoughts you think. I mean, all of these things come together to really optimize your health and your fertility. So I think like at your age, at 31, and you're already living such a healthy life, from what I can tell on Instagram, but, but just this, keep that up, keep up that approach, right? And work out any of the kinks, as I call them, in your system. So like I have a girl come to me for fertility, right? And I'll do a whole intake on her or any of the girls in my groups online. And it's like, let's work out the kinks in your system. So, how's your skin? How's your immune system? How are your joints? How's your hair? How are you and health across the board? What's your period like? Is it crampy? Is it painful? Is it coming? Are you ovulating? Work out all of those kinks and get everything aligned. Yeah. And that's like the preconception time. And then so when you are ready to conceive, it should just happen quite easily. There are, of course, the cases that's not, we have to dig deeper. But generally speaking, your fertility is an extension of your health. And just because you're over the age of 35 does not mean you are screwed, Yeah.
And I think I love that your approach of really looking holistically at the entire body, even into, I know you talk about behavior and mindset shifts and especially because of what we've been told, it's like all these thoughts and all these pressures get put on you. So now it's like, how do we shift around that? How do we change our mindset into what we're actually believing within our body so that we can create the experience that we truly want to have?
Yeah, I talk about it in my book, Yes, You Can Get Pregnant. Their very first chapter is my least favorite word. And my least favorite word is the word infertility, because I think it's just so damn negative. And, a reminder out there to all of you guys, if you are dealing with fertility challenges, or if you're worried about them, you are not broken. And the word infertility is almost this reminder that you are broken, that your fertility, it's not an on-off switch. I kind of view it as on a spectrum. There's more fertile times in your life. And those times could be ahead of you, actually, really, honestly. I think my most fertile years were after the age of 35, because I was the healthiest then. In my 20s, I drank a lot. I had an eating disorder, I didn't take the best care of myself. So I think I got more fertile. But to start to understand, though, that if you really start to own that identity, or you own that fear of like, all my eggs are going to go bad, or I'm broken, or, this is going to be a problem for me, that, there's a lot of research that shows this now, that our thoughts really dictate our physiology. And I like to distinguish between emotional inflammation and physical inflammation. And so those emotionally inflamed thoughts can be very detrimental to you. So instead, what I try to get women to do is to start to celebrate all the fertility around them. Like, start to look for all the stories of women that do just get pregnant so easily, or get pregnant in their 40s. And, like, you share stories of your parents or your grandparents, and that they had, successful pregnancies, 6 times over, or whatever it is, to start to celebrate all the fertility, because there's a lot more fertility than there is infertility. But we can get very hyper focused on the problem rather than the solution.
I absolutely love that. And that's what I love, being even here in LA, where women do typically get pregnant later on in life. They're not, it's not necessarily, it's first about like building your career and who you are. And then it's like, okay, now let me shift into the family focus. So I also love that it is something that is celebrated here where I am. But it's still like going home and having those shifts of like breaking the old thought patterns from what
old thought patterns
my doctors tell my sister or my mom or anything like that. So it's still like working through those old thought patterns and then celebrating what I do get to see on a daily basis here in LA, which is, I feel very, very grateful for. But I'm sure, like, if you look other places, it's like when you're still wrapped into this mentality of once you're 30, you're old, and if you're not having kids yet, then that's bad. You know, it's such a shift that we get to create within this culture, and it's so amazing of what you're bringing, and you get to really explore with people how they can look elsewhere too, instead of just mindset.
Well, that's it. There's so many things, right? Because I do want you moving correctly, and I want you sleeping enough, and I want you eating properly, and I want you taking the right supplements. All of those things are going to help. But you know, as I say it in my most recent book, that I could tell you when to sleep and how to meditate and what to eat and what supplements to take, but until you actually believe that this could work for you, or that your body can change and improve, it's not going to have the best effect, you know, or the fullest effect. And so you do really have to step into your power. And then, you know, I always say to women, like, get yourself a couple, you know, women that you look up to, you know, that you want to emulate, and like, oh, she went and had kids at 37 and 40. Okay, that sounds perfect to me. So I'm going to try to do exactly what she did. And, you know, I did that when I was looking for my husband, right? I was like, I want to be around couples that I really like, and, you know, start to get that energy. And I did that. You know, I always say I had the luxury of being around women for a decade, helping them conceive. That for me, when I was 39 and just getting married, I wasn't worried about my fertility, because I had the luxury of seeing all these women that had gone on to have children in their 40s. And so I had confidence about it, right? Whereas most women don't. So, but you can find those stories, and that helps shift the mindset too. And I think another thing is like, there doesn't have to be something wrong with you, right? This doesn't have to be a struggle, because I think that's another piece. We can really get stuck on the problem or the struggle, and that becomes our identity. So just start to ask yourself, like, am I addicted to this struggle, or how deep in it, you know, am I letting it identify me, and then choosing to see it differently, right? That, you know, Gabby Bernstein, she's a dear friend, and of course I follow a lot of her teachings, but she always says, it's like, you have a choice here. Choose again, you know? And so I really encourage women to think about that, and then just to find the stories that they can hold on to for hope, because the hope is a really important thing.
Oh my God. And this is everything. This is literally how I, you know, and talking to clients, especially when it comes to chronic pain.
Yes.
Like,
oh my gosh, same thing. Yeah.
It's so similar. And it comes back to making that choice and shifting into that mindset before we could do anything that's going to move you into this miraculous way, or breathe different or anything like that. You have to make the choice that this can, and this will improve.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then, of course, and I think too, like, the mindset is the most important piece, right? You work on that, it becomes almost automatic to then eat clean, right? And then to rest appropriately, and to move, to support your body the way it needs to be supported, because it's like you just get this clear sense of things. There's this layer that's lifted, and it's just so easy to move through life with clarity, and you're in touch with your body, and you're wanting to support it and love it and be kind to it. And that's, you know, I always joke that I don't really help women get pregnant. I just help women become the best versions of themselves. And from there, their fertility thrives. You know, there's no real secret sauce. You know, it's the secret sauce is health. When you focus on health, mentally, emotionally, physically, and nutritionally, everything starts to shift.
Oh, 100%. I completely agree. And, what was I was going to say something on that too. I totally just got lost in thought. But I mean, I think it's amazing. And I know that I was talking to someone else too, and she created a whole product line that I now use myself as well, for face, for dental, for everything, because she was realizing too how many toxins, especially as women, we're putting on our bodies all throughout the day. I mean, I think it could be upwards to like 200 or 300.
They say the average woman is exposed to 500 chemicals before she leaves the house in the morning. 500.
It's
insane. It's insane. So that's another thing. Like, well, and all those chemicals are endocrine disrupting chemicals, which mean they disrupt our hormones. So sometimes I see that too, right? You know, where I'm just going to change up their diet and their lifestyle. Their exposures reduce, and then they get pregnant. And also, you want to get pregnant with as little chemicals in your life as possible, because there's so much research out there that shows how negative these chemicals can be for embryos developing or fetuses developing in our body. But yeah, that's the other thing. Like they say, since the 80s, we've introduced over 100,000 chemicals to our environment. And talking about chronic conditions, so conditions like autoimmune diseases have quadrupled.
Oh, yeah.
Affecting women 75% more than men, which is another thing I discovered when I was researching for Yes, You Can Get Pregnant, that I saw, endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome, even premature ovarian failure. Those are like the three most common things for infertility. They're all autoimmune conditions. So if I actually just start treating the autoimmune condition, the infertility gets fixed, right? The AMH improves, the FSH improves, the estrogen levels change dramatically. They start getting pregnant naturally. And I'm not necessarily treating the fertility, right? I'm treating the inflammation in the body.
Which is always the underlying cause. I mean, even our mindset and what we're telling ourselves. And I like something the other day. My girlfriend, she's a dietitian, and what she actually said is that it's not what you eat, it's actually what you absorb.
Yes.
And our body isn't going to be absorbing the nutrients, even if you change your diet, unless we're changing our mindset around it and the way that we're consuming it as well.
So the mindset with which we eat, and I think I call it food gratitude. It's like the gratitude for the food, and seeing it as, when I eat this, I'm a big fan of eating protein, vegetables, and fat, right? That's kind of the fertility diet, in my opinion. And so when I eat this, really good quality protein, seeing how it's going in and nourishing the quality of my eggs, and it's nourishing the quality of my uterine lining, or just appreciating I take the time to sit and nourish my body.
Yeah.
Deepak Chopra did some research on this too, that if you eat in a rush versus if you eat kind of in this very conscious space, that you absorb more nutrition from your food.
I mean, we can say the same for anything then, right? The way that we're
absolutely.
our bodies, the way that we're moving throughout our day, if we're doing breath work, if we're doing meditation, like you said, you can tell anyone how to do something.
Yes.
But unless they start to understand the why behind it and the purpose for themselves, that's everything. And that's same mentality of what I use when I'm talking with clients. I can show you all the hows on Instagram and make it look cool. But unless you understand why you would implement it into your body and start to understand how that actually affects everything, it's not going to do anything.
No, and that it can work. Yeah. I saw a question I want to just address, if you don't mind. She says, "Are you saying my infertility was because I chose it?" And I want to just address that, because that's a real heart wrencher. Yeah. And I want to say no, that's not what we're saying. And I know it can sound like that. Rather, what I'm saying is, how much are you letting it identify you, and how much of it do you feel is in your control, and how much of that power are you trying to take back? And so I don't think women deliberately choose their fertility challenges, because it's an incredible amount of suffering and it sucks. And for anybody who's going through it, my heart goes out to you, and it's what I deal with day in and day out. But that you can choose to look at it differently. So, and you can choose to let it identify you, or to start to say, I can do this differently, or that maybe in the past I let this, identify me and lead every part of my life. And now I'm going to choose to look at it differently, right? And see the possibility for improvement, because there's a lot of women who have been diagnosed with infertility that have overcome it. And you can too, so to not feel like you're being selected out to suffer. That's not it at all. But it's more that you have a lot of power in this, and you have a choice. And it might not always feel like that, and I get that too. But to sit with that and just how attached am I to this diagnosis, and how much am I letting it lead my life? And am I willing to unpack that more and look deeper,
I absolutely love that. And I know that you're continuing to help and give people the tools to be able to choose. Yes. And I think that's what's important. It's maybe you can say, okay, I didn't know what other choice I could make. Yes, or I didn't know what other information was out there, right? Which is why I love bringing on experts that have other expertise than I do, so that they now have a choice.
There's so much you can do.
Power that you can now take back when you start to learn and open up your mindset and awareness to other things. So do you want to speak into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like there are so many things you can do. You know, I just came out with this course that I do feel like could help so many of you. It's a free mini e-course, and it's all about the 7 ways to improve the quality of your eggs. And I think Jen's going to share a link with you guys, and so you guys can check that out. But again, it's free. It's you're going to get seven tips from me that cover nutrition to supplements to lifestyle to mindset. You're going to get a 35-page PDF journal / document / like everything you possibly need. You also get a bonus video, and you also get a live Q&A with me in this free mini e-course. So it's chock full of information. There's 5 videos.
That's amazing.
And
it's free.
And so much, and it's free because, well, we did a poll on our, you know, on our list and on our Instagram. 97% of women told me they were afraid of the quality of their eggs. They were worried about the quality of their eggs. So I thought, all right, I have this information. A lot of it's in my books. You could go and find it online. I've talked about it across the board, but I went and compiled all of this and give you these really succinct videos with a great amount of information that you can start incorporating right here, right now. And even the mindset stuff is simple things of just like what we were talking about. Like, how am I nourishing myself today? How am I supporting myself? How am I choosing to believe in my body rather than not believe in my body, right? So, and then I go into diet and I go into supplements and I break it down like exactly what you need to be taking, because gosh, if you follow all the advice out there, you're on 100 supplements a day, and talk about not absorbing, you know?
Yeah.
Like so much. So I take, you know, 16 years of clinical experience. I've seen every possible fertility case you can imagine. And I've had a lot of success. And so I take that information and I distill it down for you guys in this free course that I hope you take advantage of. No matter where you are on the path, like even you, Jen, right? Like thinking, oh, okay, I'm 31. Like, what can I do now that, so in 6 years from now, when I'm done killing it career-wise, you know, and I'm sailing a little bit, then I'm going to have some children, you know, to feel more confident in your body and in your choices now. So you can preserve that fertility too.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And guys, I will be sharing the link in my story and in my newsletter tomorrow. So there's so many places where you can check it out and get onto this free resource. Aimee, this is amazing. Like the amount of information that you're providing people, and that you're willing to just say, hey, I'm giving you the opportunity to learn, to start to understand where this could be coming from and why. Like, this is invaluable information.
Thank you.
Women of any age, even if now you're past kids and you're still thinking, okay, how can I be healthier within my body? These are all still tools to be able to know.
Absolutely.
Anywhere in age that you are. Like, I'm sure now you're not just like, oh, now I don't have to worry about my body anymore, you know?
Well, that's it. It's, you know, there's so much you can do to continue to just optimize your health. And like I said, when you optimize your health, you know, every single cell in your body improves, you know, so whether you're trying to have kids or not, it's really just about optimal health and vitality.
Totally. Someone else was saying, I can't have children of my own yet. I donated my eggs to other couples. The quality of my eggs improved after changing my diet. The rate of my eggs was successful, fertilized above average. Diet is important. Oh,
so important. You are what you eat. 100% you are what you eat, you know, and you just have to eat really good quality food. You know, one of my mentors who's an MD, and you know, he said, oh, if you want to make a human, you got to eat what humans are made of. And they're made of protein, fat, and water. And he's like, throw in some veggies, you know?
Yeah.
But you just need to avoid all the processed chemicals in our food, our bath and beauty products. I mean, that's the stuff that's really doing the damage. You know, people ask me all the time, what do you think is causing all the fertility challenges? And I always say it's like our modern lifestyle, but our diet and the chemicals that we're exposed to all day long. Those are the 2 major. And then I also think women, we're just taking on way too much. We just got a lot on our plate these days, and we're trying to do it all. We want to be the super mom. We want to be super fit. We want to be super successful and super partner. You know, it's a lot of pressure on us. And so to start to take a step back there, to be easy on ourselves.
That's like the number one thing that I see when women come in. It's like, I don't have time for pain. Why is pain happening? Because I have to work. I have to take care of the kids. I have to be an awesome wife. I have to do this. I don't have time. And it's this very stressful state to constantly be living in.
It's too much. It's too much. And it's not a very optimal state to procreate, right? It's just like, oh, I'm trying to get pregnant on a timeline versus out of like excitement and joy and fun.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between like, honey, I'm ovulating sex and, you know, I lust for my partner sex.
Right.
Big difference.
I think someone had asked as well, does your ovulation change throughout your cycle? Does the ovulation time?
It shouldn't. You know, it should always basically fall exactly 14 days before your period comes. So it can change from like maybe some months you ovulate on 11 and other months you ovulate on like 16 as in cycle day. So the first day of your period is day 1. And typically women, you know, but nobody's perfect. I always say this, we're not robots. We don't usually ovulate the exact same day every single cycle, nor do we usually have like an exactly 28-day cycle every cycle. And that's okay. A lot of women vary between like 26 to 32. So ovulation's usually kind of smack in the middle. But if you take your cycle length, so the days between periods, and subtract 14, that's typically when you ovulated. And you can start to track it that way. Look for cervical mucus and, you know, have sex like every other day. You should start to cover your bases.
Awesome. Well, any last little tidbits before we have to hop off with you?
You know, I think just the biggest thing that we were talking about is to realize how much control you have over this and how much is in your power. And, you know, be kind to yourself and don't be afraid to have hope.
Yeah. Someone said, advice on post-birth control syndrome.
Amen, Araya. How to track cycle when it's not really existent, obvious, been 4 to 5 months, eat healthy. It can take 6 to 9 months to restore normal ovulatory function after going off the pill. So A. One of my favorite things to jumpstart a cycle is acupuncture. I know I am an acupuncturist, but it works like a charm. So I would consider acupuncture. I would consider herbal medicine. Buy an herbalist. So see an actual herbalist and maybe get on some, I'm a Chinese herbalist, so I'll say Chinese herbs, but Western herbs would work too. You know, make sure you're on a really good B complex. Your B vitamins need to be in check. They get very depleted on the birth control pill. Get your vitamin D checked, get your thyroid checked. Make sure all of that is in the healthy parameters. Your thyroid, your TSH should be between a 1 and a 2 for optimal fertility function. So I would just get a full blood work, you know, make sure vitamin D is between a 50 and a 70, that your TSH is between a 1 and a 2, get on a good B complex, get some acupuncture, maybe some herbs, and be patient with your body. It can take some time.
Totally. Yeah. And I think too, like understanding that even if you're going to start getting off, like understanding
that it can take a while. I always say
before you even get off.
Yeah, it's like give yourself 6 months. Like a lot of girls think, oh, I'm going to stop the pill and the next month I'm going to get pregnant. And it's like, that happens. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But we do want you to really, you know, the pill is those are not real periods. The body's not doing anything in the reproductive system while you're on the pill. And so you really want a couple months to get your groove back on, you know, hormone wise, and then conceive. Just think you can make better quality eggs over those next couple months and everything comes into balance for a healthier pregnancy.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. And you guys can learn all the rest of everything.
Yeah, head over to the mini e-course. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so valuable.
Book, you guys can go follow her. You should be able to click right here.
Yeah, you can click right there. Follow
and go check out her profile.
Yes,
and go follow
there we
her.
go.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jen. Thank you so much.
Coming on. You're such a light, which is also, I mean, working with the clients that you do, I'm sure that's such a beautiful gift to them to be able to receive like your light and your energy that you provide with this information. Makes it much more absorbable.
There we go. Absorption.
Exactly. And I know that women are so going to appreciate this, and then just get your free resource because it's a no-brainer. It's a
no-brainer.
Yeah, stuffed with information. So whether you don't know if you're going to have kids, you're in the works of wanting to have kids, or you just want to keep a healthy body. Like, lots of beautiful information.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jen. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I know you're headed on a trip. Have so much fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you.